Now on to Close Up West takes an in look at
Good evening, welcome to Close Up West. For ravers across the country, this was the 5th summer of love. For the rest of us, it was a summer of increasing media controversy over illegal parties. Castle Morton was the climax, where police failed to stop 20,000 people gathering for a 5-day festival to the outrage of local residents. But all over the West Country, every weekend, there were illegal raves. Later this evening, I'll be asking for your views in a local radio phone-in. But first, take a look behind the headlines. Tonight's film is the story of the ravers, how they organise the parties and why they do it. Nina Nurka reports.
The fact that it's a little bit illegal, you know, not really the police's cup of tea, I suppose, you know.
If I anticipate a breach of the peace that results from this party, then you will all have to disperse or be arrested. Do you understand that?
And like, people basically just want to, you know, get off their heads and dance all night. It's like, I suppose there's nothing particularly wrong with that. It doesn't hurt anyone.
I mean, in their day it was rock and roll, wasn't it? So in our day it's rave.
Police are monitoring the festival and say they won't move in for fear of sparking public disorder.
Okay, have you got any amps? And your mate's using this tonight?
Are you talking about speakers or just amps? Speakers at the moment, so we can match the amps.
There's an illegal rave promised for tonight. The Assembly, a group of boys from Weston, are setting it up.
2.6, and we got 4, 5, 6, 7, 1.4 sort of K, 1.5K worth of amp. It's going to be quiet at the moment. Another high, please.
The boys know they've got a lot to lose. The authorities have stopped them before. To rave, they risk arrest and confiscation of their sound system.
What's the puddle, mate?
This time, though, they found a remote field and are confident it'll be a success.
It's got to be like facing upwards so the rope will go into it. This one's like this way, yeah? The rope goes down like that. It fits into the... Yeah, I know.
Buzz for me is, well, especially on the last one, setting up and that, just being there and setting up. Yeah. And thinking, you know, there's going to be 2,000 people here, like, you know, I'm part of it. That's the buzz for me. Watching everyone dance to the music I'm playing is the best buzz for me, you know. I mean, you don't need to do drugs when you know.
Well, we're just going to cut those points. Yeah, follow up a bit. Time it off. The fence we're going to have to stop people going in for me. I've probably got some wood at home. We need 12-foot poles, quite thick. We don't want to be stopped. But if we have, the last one we had was stopped, and that was such a you know, it was a real downer. Everyone's night was ruined. They'd all travelled from miles around, you know. There was over 1,000 people. And I felt, you know, if we all of us felt, you know, so personally, that we'd really let people down, and we couldn't do it again. That's why we called it apology. You know, it's an apology for the last one not going off. So you know, make sure we get private land so they can't stop us. That's right.
I used to be a hip-hop DJ. Most of my music is hip-hop. And then the rave scene came along, and the music's got a lot faster. Mixing involves combining the two beats of two different records. They're also not going to be at the same speed. So you use the pitch control on the turntable to make sure that they are on the same speed. And that way they sound like they're the same record, so you can swap between them. Show you this one.
Everybody wants to be a DJ. Everybody wants to be a DJ. Everybody wants to be a DJ. Everybody.
Ravers want hardcore techno music. To get it, some go to Sumo's, a club in Weston. It's where the Assembly goes on Friday nights.
Hardcore is just basically fast, non-commercial dance music. You can get a track that's underground that everybody will listen to, and it will be hardcore.
The attraction of the DJs, you get to know all the DJs and that, so you pick the ones where the ones that you like are, you know.
You know, you just do what you want for the music sort of thing. It's just, you know, dance how you like. So you're living in Taunton, you know, there are a few clubs here and there, but there's nothing to support all of the sort of people our age.
Because where I live, so boring and monotonous, you just got to get away from the place, you know.
The raves turned up just at the right time.
It is a relief. It's getting rid of all the energy that's built up in the week.
Free of charge, Orca! Live PA! Free of charge just for you, Virus Massive! Our own hometown Live PA!
I mean, the rave scene is a mass at the moment. It's a mass load of people, yeah? And they've got a lot of energy and a lot of power. They can do a lot of things.
It's only 2 in the morning, but Sumo's is closed. For those determined to carry on through the night, flyers are the key to finding an illegal rave before the police. Apart from that, there's nowhere else to go. In Weston, the rave scene began 5 years ago in the woods.
They just kind of mushroomed, and they just got bigger and bigger. And so they just used to get so full up round here. If you look round here, you can see like the size of this place. But it was right up the roads and right back out into the trees, full of people. The whole thing was just like a sea of people. We used to set up 2 vans there, and the sound system going out that way. And we'd have all projections on the top of the vans going out into the clearing and backdrops and people hanging from bicycles and fluorescent heads, stuff hung up in the trees. We just go out on the Saturday in the summer and flyer it just on the day there's a free party in the woods. And the pubs would be full that night, and come closing time, they're just, all of them, up the hill, and we'd be up here. We'd get up here about 7, 8 o'clock, and we'd be setting up, and it'd be kind of, we're going to get it all done on time, and everyone's getting a bit stressed and that. And 10:30 comes, 11:30 comes, you're nearly ready, and about 11:30, 12 o'clock, you're sat on top of a van doing a projector, and people just come from every direction, like, and within sort of 10 minutes, it's packed.
Streaks of sunlight coming down through the trees, 5 or 6 in the morning, and you know, people, still hundreds of people here, but not so many, but there was people who were really enjoying the night, and the sun would come up, and there'd be just people dancing around in amongst the trees. It seemed a very natural thing to do at that time in the morning.
The last party we did was the first party of '91, and the police that night and the environmental health came up and served writs on all of us with £2,000 fines for, you know, music, amplified music, stuff like that.
Clean it up, and then we can try, like, just drag it up. Hang it on there. Well, we're joining them all up.
The Assembly's done this successfully many times before, but recently they've run into trouble with the authorities.
The second one down.
It was a sort of a mixture of being annoyed and quite proud that I'd been served a writ from the council. There's not a lot of people who get served a writ. I know the Crucial Six, the other group in Weston, have got some. It's a sort of I don't really know how to say it. It's sort of a bit of an ego boost, really, that the council have taken that much interest, that they've decided that they're going to stop me from doing something.
These penalties haven't stopped them from trying time and time again, but finding somewhere to set up without trespassing has prevented many raves.
I mean, we made the mistake of doing that on land that we didn't have permission to be on. We thought it was a sort of a public bridle path, but it turns out it wasn't. So we got moved on from there, and I ended up getting arrested on that night. I mean, I can appreciate from the residents' point of view, they don't want to put up with the noise. That's fair enough. But it just seems to me that even if we were to go out in the middle of nowhere and just try and have a free party, make no money, we still wouldn't be able to get away with it, because the police would just be on us like a ton of bricks.
Someone called Michelle Todd. That's her name. I don't know her number. Yet? No, she's not here yet. Right. Michelle Todd has sorted us out with this land. This land belongs to someone who in Weston-super-Mare, who is quite well known, has quite a bit of cash, and he doesn't want his name disclosed at the moment. This is what she told me, so not even I know the name, right? But Michelle has sorted it out. I was on the phone, she was on the phone to him, and he said yes. So she said yeah. Took her a bit persuading, but we have the field. And that's all I know.
If we bring sound equipment down here, what will happen?
That's what I'd like to know. If I anticipate there's going to be a breach of the peace from your efforts down here, then I shall ask you to disperse.
Yeah.
If you don't, all right, then I shall consider that the conduct will be such as to occasion a breach of the peace, and if necessary, I shall have to arrest those that don't disperse and take your sound equipment. All right? That's the top and bottom of it. So it's really a matter for you.
Does it mean no matter what we do, then it's going to be a breach of the peace? Really?
That will be a matter for me to consider, given what you're going to produce. Okay.
Fine.
Now, there are raves, if you want to call them, that are organised in Weston-super-Mare.
But you have to pay about £2,000.
That's the unfortunate thing. I appreciate that.
Stinks.
But at the end of the day, those things do occur, and unless you end up with a properly organised rave that is licensed, usually, because all the conditions are met and it's all been looked at by the environmental health officers beforehand, and we're satisfied that it can go ahead, etc., 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 but all these impromptu ones do cause concern, and if concern is raised with the police, then we have to act.
The police are afraid of another Castle Morton. Lawless and loud, some 20,000 ravers converged there for a 5-day festival.
Variously described as New Age travellers, hippies and rave-goers, they were in reality a motley bunch of predominantly young people from all walks of life, drawn together by the promise of free music.
Spiral Tribe was one of several groups who had a sound system there. They were among more than 20 people who were arrested and charged with public order offences. The police also confiscated Spiral Tribe's sound equipment, vehicles and personal belongings.
All our homes, everything, all our possessions, all our sound equipment, all our lights, all our backdrops, all our artwork, everything has been seized, you know, and basically it has disrupted our lives.
Do you know what I mean? It's just unbelievable that they are treating us like murderers, you know, like criminals, and just doing the most natural thing in the world, you know, like dancing outside. I mean, a lot of the people who come to our parties, when we do them outside, haven't even been outside London. Do you know what I mean? Like, we're really into sort of, you know, getting people out of the inner city and into the countryside, making that contact with the earth, to feel that energy, because most of them have never done it.
The loss of their equipment has made Spiral even more determined to party. In London, they're getting ready for another illegal rave somewhere in the country.
We've got a lot of respect for Spiral Tribe and Circus. In fact, all the big free rave organisations in the country, you know, they're all basically just a big family. You know, they're all got the same idea in mind. You know.
It's killing, Ken. Any luck with the generator? No. Oh. Well, listen, phone them back. Tell them we'll give them a few quid for it. Definitely. But, well, I mean, we've got one generator, but we definitely need 2 generators because we've got quite a big system and quite a few lights.
These parties don't really need organising, they just kind of like gel together. It just takes a kind of collective will to have a party, and it can be put together like in about 10 minutes basically. The problem is that the police or the government or whoever the powers that be are making it increasingly difficult for some unknown reason. It seems like they just want to isolate people into units and they don't like large collections of people at all. And so since Castle Morton, we haven't really been able to have what we call a spiral party.
This isn't a spiral party, but a legal rave in Wiltshire. It's organised by the Bristol-based promoters Fives Alive.
You've got a feeling of empathy towards everyone. It's a special feeling you don't get anywhere else.
It's about happiness. It's about getting really hyped up to the music. It's just about enjoying yourself and letting go, expressing yourself.
It's just for people like let their hair down, have a wicked time.
The music's brilliant. It's just a soundtrack for your happiness, which is being expressed by the dance.
Organising a legal rave has its problems. To get a public entertainment licence from a local authority takes several months, a lot of money and red tape. Even after all the criteria like providing security, first aid and other facilities have been met, the regulations vary from council to council. Often it's a matter of potluck.
20 yards past our site, you go into another borough and their licensing regulations are completely different. We're right on the edge of a boundary. It's that close.
It's even harder for smaller promoters. After being served writs, the Crucial Six tried to go legal, but they say the regulations made it impossible for them to succeed.
Now, first condition that was a problem with us was all tickets sold beforehand. The second problem is a sort of limited entry time. You have to be in by a certain time. Now, if people can't come in after that event, after the time's gone, they, as they were at our last event, were queuing outside but weren't allowed in, tickets or no tickets. It's self-destructive having these kind of clauses on their licenses, you know. Because if we're not doing legal parties, then people are going to be doing illegal ones.
Now,
Yeah.
this is Mr. Dud. This is his piece of land, all right? Now, you tell them what you just told me, because I asked you whether there was permission.
No permission whatsoever to hold anything on here at all. As far as I'm concerned, you're trespassing.
Okay, lads.
Simple as that.
We really said we had permission.
Well, there's obviously been a breakdown of communication, but this is the landowner, okay? Now, I know it's a disappointment, but you've heard it from the guy who owns the piece of property.
Disappointment for us, yeah.
Yeah. So, could you take your bits and pieces down and do as he asked you to do, and leave his piece of land, please?
Killjoys, a lot of them. I like the way I reckon they've deliberately waited for us to set it all up, you see.
Yeah.
Because they were up there earlier watching us.
Yeah.
And like we saw them, but they just waited for us. Let's have a bit of fun tonight. Yeah, to put all our hard work
Let's have a bit of fun tonight. Yeah, pack it up then. Yeah. Pack it up, get all the gear home.
Get somewhere. Yeah. Just get the stuff we don't need home and go and set up somewhere else. All this lot, isn't
Legal raves are big business. With tickets priced at around £25 a head, some promoters can make more than £500,000 from just one event. It's not surprising, smaller traders are keen to cash in on these profits, with so many thousands of ravers willing to pay the price.
I reckon each one cost me about £50 excluding the ticket. Ticket's always a little bit extra. I mean, they average round about now £25 a ticket. So, but it's well worth it. I mean, you can't spend 25 quid and have 12 hours entertainment anywhere else, really.
For legal organisers, success or failure depends on ticket sales.
What they put up there, or what they say out there, or even over there or in here. Here, £10 each.
How much are you hoping to earn tonight?
Depends
depends on how the ticket sales will go, and it can be either anything from a McDonald's hamburger to a Ferrari.
It's this materialism and the big wheel of commercialisation that puts off the hardcore illegal ravers.
I think things fell apart a bit when it became more commercial. There was vast events going on with a lot of money behind them, fun fairs, etc., which is all good fun, but there's just more and more of them all the time. It's a bit sort of more or less like Euro Disney raving.
We're a free organisation. We don't charge anything at all to get in. Our equipment costs us a fortune. We pay the petrol on the generators. All right, we sell cans, etc. But we would never. We just about break even. That's about it. We never make a profit. I mean, really, there's no profit at all. Especially the work as well. You know.
A paid one, you'd have to pay a fortune.
The thing is, the atmosphere at illegal parties is always better.
It's a lot
It's always this. It's much more underground. You know, you've got the people who are really in the scene. The people who really, you know, want to go will go.
The illegal parties will keep on happening. The illegal parties will, I don't think they'll beat the illegal parties, whatever size. They may not do them for 12,000 people again, but you're guaranteed that every weekend there'll be parties all over the country. For maybe 200, maybe 2,000 people, but there'll be parties.
The establishment believes there'll always be parties because of the availability of drugs like ecstasy.
Everyone's smiling, everyone's happy, and you just know everyone's feeling the same as you, and it just makes that atmosphere so much better.
It's a good vibe, and yeah, drugs are essential for some people, not for others.
It's just a release. Yeah. Just totally, instead of spending like thousands of pounds on a holiday, you can go to like a party somewhere. You can take E or something. I mean, I don't do it myself, but you can take E.
No time.
You just go.
If you knew what you was taking, then perhaps I'd give it a go. But at the moment, you just don't know what's going on. You know, it could be anything in there. I've heard of people buying speed and it's just Ajax powder. They've just taken it and it's just rotted their stomach.
The idea of the pusher is a bit of a sort of outdated concept, really. It doesn't happen. You know, nobody comes up to you and says, "You must buy my ecstasy." You know, it doesn't happen like that. You know, people will go around and look for the drug if they want it. You know,
Looking to spend about 100 quid on drugs, it's always going to be there. It's not going to change. Whether it's legal, illegal, it's just going to be there.
But I mean, you don't have to take drugs if you don't want to. I'm not going for drugs. Any of us are going for drugs.
We're going tonight. I haven't even had a pint. And he's not happy about that.
Spiral Tribe aren't happy either. It's 1 in the morning and they've run into more than just technical problems.
Charges will say that we are doing anything trespassing on their land because they knew that we were trying to get onto the land of their neighbour who they know. So it's all nice and merry, really.
You can't move your van because it's stuck in the ditch.
It's stuck, so we need a vehicle to pull it out.
No, tractor's no good there. See, you're too far down. See what's happening? Your suspension's dropped down, right, under the water there. Okay, you're not going to start your lorry up. If you do, you're going to do more damage to your old motor because your belt's underneath it right down. The engine's in the water part. The mud and that, you're not going to get out of there by starting your engine up as well.
If you can't arbitrarily decide that you want to have a party or allow your land to be used for a party, it is going to be a nuisance to other people. Because that's what public nuisance is all about. And the law is there to protect them.
Yeah. If you want to go down the bottom there, if we get to another venue, you're not going to give us too much grief. We'll be very choosy. We'll get out of your area. We'll leave this land alone. Sorted. 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 Thank you very much. Sorted.
A2.
Yeah.
A2 all the way, mate.
I'll give you an escort.
No, we don't need an escort. We've got our own truck.
Whoa! Whoa!
Undeterred, they set off to find another site. 5 hours later, Spiral finally had a rave on the beach at Margate.
Because the rave, it's not a definite thing, is it? Because it's illegal. And you're there, and you're trying to find it, but you're not sure. You sit there in a lay-by, and a convoy of cars comes past, and you join that, and you know within yourself that you're going to get that. You're going to get to a party. There's going to be a lot of people there. It's just excellent. It's just that buzz.
What's the point?
ain't talking to you, because you ain't listening, and neither is Lee. Neither of you are listening to anything.
Because we were the ones that got arrested last time.
Exactly. That is why you're not going to do it tonight, so what are you going on about?
Because my stuff's going to be out there.
You must have to get someone's decks.
You got decks?
Simon's got decks.
Can we get a different van? I'd rather not use Gary's van.
But don't let the police cannot fine you for this. They just scare you with it. They cannot fine you. No one's actually ever been fined for doing it. You don't give a damn about the police. That's fine.
It's really exciting, you know, sort of driving along, and you look behind and you can just see thousands of lights, you know. You look in front, you can just see all these cars in front, you know, it's really, you get a really good buzz sort of thing.
It's really mad. It's okay if it goes on, doesn't go on too long, you don't get lost too many times. It's really exciting, you've got butterflies, like, oh, is it around this corner, is it around that one?
We got a phone call, and then we sort of knew roughly where it was. Like they said, we're in Shepton Mallet, and then like we sort of got halfway here, and we seen like loads of kids driving towards it.
It's great. It's great. I'm glad we got somewhere at last, you know. And somebody else is doing what we failed. You know, not as good as ours would have been, but ours would have been wicked.
They don't want that kind of energy to be released. It's much easier when it's concreted in the tower blocks and in the shopping precincts and everything else, because then it is just totally enclosed. But once you get out of that to one of the parties, and there's just thousands of people there, and they're all dancing outside and they're seeing the sunrise, and the surge of energy is just, I think it's very frightening.
It's dawn at Vibes Alive, and the party's still going strong. So too are the illegal raves. Confiscation and trespass laws have failed to stamp them out. Meanwhile, 7 members of Spiral Tribe are still charged with public nuisance and could face heavy fines or jail. Their fate could affect the future of the rave movement across the country and change the law. But ravers are looking forward to next year, the 6th Summer of Love.
It will change, it's already changing, but they metamorphosise, they just gradually move through. Something else will take over the hardcore, slightly different, but the parties will still be there, definitely.
When I come out of rave, especially when I first started going, the next morning when I was travelling home in the car, it's just so like, oh no, when's the next one kind of thing. So like, they must be good. No, I can't stop smiling.
I mean, what's happened to us has happened to a lot of other people around the country. If we gave up now, we'd just be the losers, wouldn't we? So, like, next year, and, you know, start it up again. We're buying PA all the time.
They got loads of all them big things. All the...
Where was they got one in there? Where they got one in there?
It's seduction tonight, isn't it?
Seduction.